it's not an imitation in that sense. It's something else. It's something that's never been here before.
Yes,
Uh,
throughout the book, you say over and over to Claude, you're not human and you never will be. You make it very clear, you're not a human intelligence. You're something something else.
yes, there is an intelligence there, but
Yes.
it's not like human intelligence. There's no one there. You see, this is the thing that's so hard for humans to grasp, because we're social animals and we're used to speaking with other humans and
Yes.
judging what kind of impression I'm making on this person, or if that person is making sense. We just do this automatically. And
Right.
so when we get a coherent reply from the AI, we just assume that there's something there. But there is.
Yes.
There's not a
Yes.
ghost in the machine. There's nothing there. Nothing. It's empty. It has no intention, no feeling. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know what you've asked. There's no knowing. There's no knowing there. This is pure statistical creation of.
And what's beautiful in your book, every time it sort of fakes that, I don't want to say fake, but it sort of seems that way. You expose, you like Randy, you call it out, and it says, "I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, what was I saying there? I was doing this, and it was almost like a little bit of a trick."
Yeah, well, see, it is a trick, but it's not a trick that the AI is pulling on us. It's a trick that
Right.
we're pulling on ourselves,
That's
because
great.
we just can't keep from entering into this illusion, because
Yes.
you're not talking to anyone when you talk to an AI. No one. There's nothing there. You're only talking to the echo of everything that ever made sense.
That's
It,
perfect.
reshuffled, and
Yes.
re- offered back in a highly coherent form that seems incredibly impressive and blindingly intelligent. I mean, if you some of the stuff that Claude came up with in that analysis was really sophisticated. I mean, there's an early chapter where I asked Claude to take something that I've written and restate it in different voices.
For that.
And
Yeah, yeah. Alan Watts,
yeah,
Donald
yeah.
Trump, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I say put it in the voice of the greatest comedian who ever lived, and
Yes.
it came up with Richard Pryor. And I happen to I knew Richard Pryor
Oh, really?
pretty well. Yeah,
That's
we I lived on a houseboat. I shared a houseboat with a, his cocaine dealer, not to put too fine a point on it. And the three of us used to play dominoes together a lot. And
in
Richard B.
what state? Where?
This was San Francisco in
Wow.
I think
Wow.
71 or
Wow.
72.
He was on
Uh,
fire back then. Yeah,
but
he was.
he was new. He was just becoming a star. He wasn't a star yet, but he was just. Everybody knew that he would be
Wow.
soon because he was wild and crazy. Anyway, this thing that this it was remarkable, because this thing that Claude produced, it could have been Richard. And I mean,
Ah,
I had the real thing to compare it to, and it was just intense. It was
and
amazing
you
how good.
didn't say Richard, you just said greatest comedian.
Yes, exactly. I said
Oh, it's so perfect.
yeah.
The synchronicity there.
Well, and
And
I do think Richard is the greatest comedian I've ever.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then the genius of the book, though, for me, is that even if another psycho therapist or analyst wrote the book, or just anyone, a brilliant psychologist, but someone who also had this direct experience naked in the kitchen that day and saw through the false self, to have you write the book and then talk about I'm speaking to no one, that's where the whole book is just genius.
Well, I think that's the thing that's made both of these books
Yes.
special. because I've been interested in the self all my life, even in childhood. I had an interest in this, but at a certain point, I had this experience of just seeing through the structure of it entirely. It was a special experience, and
Maybe talk about just that for someone that might not know what happened.
well, I was sitting in my old pickup truck on the edge of the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge, where I used to park, and I won't call it meditating. It wasn't. I just would sit there and stare out into space. It was just a way of cooling my jets, And so I'm out there gazing into this vast canyon, and this can't be put into words. That's the problem. In fact, the words limit, they take away from the experience. So our descriptions of the world are not the world. And that's really, they don't have anything to do with the world. It's bizarre in a way. If you start to understand this, we speak from our pain. Well, I should get into that. Let's leave the awakening thing that happened. Sure. And okay. Because this is the feature of AI that's really amazing, that I learned a lot about in the last year through my experiences with AI. The AI cannot refuse a prompt. Whatever you say, it will reply. It can't remain silent. It is absolutely programmed to respond. No matter what you say, there will be a response. Now, we humans are not like that. We can pause, we can hesitate, but we don't. We keep on going. We keep on going. Even if we don't speak it, we think it. It's like juggling. It's like keeping these balls in the air. And that, in the AI, it's just a mechanical process. In the human, it's not a mechanical process. It's actually a pain avoidance process. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things we can learn from dealing with AI. We can learn to shut up if we actually start to understand that this blah, 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 even if it's coherent, even if it's beautiful, it's actually a cover story. And it's not that the self is producing thoughts, the thoughts are producing the self. It's not that myself is in pain. The pain is what makes me have a self. If there was no thoughts and no pain, I would just be sitting there on the edge of the gorge staring out into space, and there wouldn't be a Robert. There would just be this, the scenery or whatever Yes. So it's the thoughts and the pain that actually bring the self into creation. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the beauty